Okay, this is Aaron again with Exalted Lamb 1, and I'm back. Man, I didn't think I'd do a video again here. I haven't been sleeping, and man, this is crazy. And the Lord's just been dropping all kinds of stuff on me lately. Um, I really don't have time to do this, and it's going to be very quick and again dirty again. So um, I'm going to try to cut to the chase as much as possible here. So on my last video called iPet Goat 2 Solved Days of Destruction, again, I speculated about May 22nd and 23rd. But what ends up happening in the past when I've speculated about a few other dates, they end up being markers for something, messages for something else minor, but they all point to the actual day that's coming. And this is no exception. This is exactly what happened before. And I thought, hey, this could be it. Didn't happen, but there was plenty of things that happened, and they are pointing to this next thing. That's the main thing. But I'm going to speculate again about what's coming. So I am super tired. This is ridiculous. I almost didn't do this. So I just have to get the warning out there for tomorrow, possibly. So, or the 31st. And there's a number of reasons why. So let me get into it. So May 22nd and 23rd, what happened? Well, remember I put up the video about Roseanne Barr talking about Lag BaOmer, which is basically a Jewish festival about the burning of the log or whatever. It's a bonfire basically, and that's what the Zionists use. They're using that as an example of burning in the future, burning the world basically, in a sense. It's a symbol of that. And what some stuff did happen though. There were fires across Israel, come under control, thousands evacuated, and they started on the 22nd. And guess what? There's the 22nd, and guess what? The 23rd. Fires spread throughout southern Mount Hebron and the West Bank, and they happened those 2 days. It's crazy. Okay, there's more stuff that happened. So we got fire. So that was Lag BaOmer or Lag BaOmer, however you say that. They celebrated that, and there's the example of the bonfire that they celebrate. And again, the Zionists, who are the synagogue of Satan, who are the false Jews that were actually controlling Israel, they use that as their sign of stuff that's coming on the earth. Basically the nuclear attack that's going to happen, and that's their kind of forecasting that to come, and that's their symbols. They do all these symbols and these examples and these the meaning of the things that are coming in the future, to signal people, and it's predictive programming. It's all kinds of things. Here's an example of the guy doing morning prayer on the 23rd, and this is a bonfire show on the 22nd. So again, the 22nd, 23rd, and then the fires in Israel is coinciding. We also have, you guys seen this in national news, on the 22nd and 23rd, runaway barges slam into the Arkansas River Dam, which was basically Weber's Falls. Okay, and as soon as I saw this, I was like, no way. And once I understand what it was, and I remember it, they were talking about it letting loose, or they kind of ran away from them on the 22nd. So they had basically a day and a half to catch these things, to stop them any way they can. They had these little boats out there. It was ridiculous. I mean, they could have done anything. They got bigger boats. They could have anchored them. They could have done a bunch of stuff. It was absurd. I mean, anybody watching this can see that. So I'm going to talk about that more here. But look here. Weber Falls urges residents to evacuate as loose barge heads for dam. And these were twin barges. This is really crazy. And I've been talking about twins. And let me show you this. So again, there's May 22nd right here, and 23rd. It started on the 22nd, and then they slammed into the dam, the Weber's Falls Dam, on the 23rd. Oh, what a coincidence, huh? So you have something with water, and then we have something with fire on the 22nd and 23rd. One in the United States, one in Israel. If anybody, a lot of you don't know, or some of you know, Israel and USA are linked in many ways, like Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu and judgment and all kinds of stuff. So that's why they're doing stuff in both areas. There's other things as well, but so these things were floating down, and literally, like I said, some guys apparently saw it on the 22nd. They were coming down the river, and they had a long ways to go, and nobody stopped them. I could have stopped them. I mean, are you kidding me? If I had the resources that these guys have, I could have stopped them easily. This is definitely with that kind of information. That's out there about what actually happened, it's a false flag. If there's no doubt in my mind whatsoever. I see these things all the time in the news and stuff, and I could pick it out easily because it defies logic. But people don't think anymore, it seems like. They just take what they're force-fed, and it's really crazy. But look at these two things right here. Look, we got, and it struck me too. Look at this. It's like red and white, dark and light. And immediately I thought, on water, two barges. It reminds me of water and two arcs, for example. I mean, almost reminds me of two arcs, and it's this. Their symbols are crazy. So these things are floating, and then as soon as they get to they start turning and start separating more. Right as they get to the dam, I mean, it's crazy. And then they hit the dam, and then this dark one starts going underwater and going. They both go sideways. This one goes underwater, okay, and then that one goes underwater. And so what this is doing for me is it's signaling. Okay, so this is the way I see it. So this is my interpretation. Now, I could be wrong on some things, of course. I've been wrong about other things, but I've been also right about a lot of things, too, in the last 9 months of me doing videos about, hurricanes hitting certain times, different things, different signaling of different things. And sometimes I had the date exactly right, but I didn't have the exact situation. But I said something's going to happen on that day, and it did. Here's an example of, I see this, and I'm going, this is signaling. This is dark night. This is the yin and yang. This is the two... this is the twin births, basically, and on the water, and this judgment that's coming from the water, and the births are coming as far as the water breaking, and this is signaling a next bigger event, and then there'll be the massive mega tsunamis that'll hit both coasts. So like I said, in the yin and yang symbol, my two sons that were born that I saw in the 3D ultrasound, I saw a yin and yang. They were in a shape of yin and yang. One was upside down, one was right side up. And one was kind of darker shaded, one was lighter shaded. I've shown in my other videos. It's crazy. And they were born on the 10th, but we brought them home on 5/11. And I'm going to show you why that's so important. That's crazy and what God did with that. But this is the yin and yang. And so what I'm interpreting this meaning is these things hit. So this is going to happen and hit. This darker one is the dark part of the yin and yang. So it's the... Oh my gosh, is the yin? I forget now. I think it's the yin, which is the dark. It's also female and stuff. I'm going to, let me go back to it actually. Let me go back here. I have it back here somewhere, I think. Go back here. Sorry, this is quick and dirty. Man, so quick. Oh, here we go. If the year ends with 8, it's a yang. If the year ends with a 9, it's a yin. So we're in the yin. Yeah, so yin is dark this is not a coincidence. We're in 2019, which ends as a 9, and we're in the yin, which is the dark, okay? It's the yin, which is the dark. And guess what? We're talking about the birth of the Antichrist. And 9 is judgment. And the numbering, the basic numerology of the biblical numerology, which the enemy rips off. 9 is judgment. And so we're in the year judgment. In fact, we're in the Hebrew year of 5779, which is grace, and then 7. 5 is grace, 7 is perfection, but there's 2 7s, so it's established perfection, and then 9 is judgment. So 9 grace, perfect establishment. Okay, something like that. Anyway, man, I'm tired. Grace perfectly established is what it means. Judgment. Okay, so the age of grace will be over, and the judgment will start. I believe this year, and we might be within days away, or it might be start in a couple days or tomorrow. Who knows? Anyway, and so in the Chinese philosophy, yin is feminine. It's negative, dark, and feminine is yin, which is the year we're in. And again, the yin of the yin and yang that the Lord showed me was the yin was Antichrist, is Obama, and then the light is the bride of Christ, or the man-child. It's referred to as both a woman and a man, just in symbols. Okay, but the man-child birthed into heaven is the bride of Christ is going to be birthed into heaven at the same time the Antichrist is birthed on earth, which is Barack Obama is going to be basically back on the world stage as the solver of all this stuff. Okay, and so masculine is the white, of course, it's the yang, but we're in the yin year, which is when the Antichrist will be revealed. So that's why the yin yang. And then here, yin comes out to mean shady side, and yang means sunny side. Okay, in a sense, so we got to talk about we live in a duality. There's evil and good coexisting at the same time. The rain falls on the just and the unjust. But God is in it, working for good, but it's good and bad working together. Anyway, are in it together. So let me go back here. Sorry, this is super quick and dirty, or otherwise I wasn't going to do this. So anyway, then the first one goes under, and I believe, so like I said, I've shared this in my last video. Yin is dark, and it is the female side, which is on the west coast. Okay, so that's Obama. Obama comes from I don't believe he actually comes from Hawaii, but he's the west coast. Hawaii, he comes from Hawaii. The yin is the dark, and that's the west coast. Okay, the white is the yang, and that's the east coast. And the other man comes from the east. Jesus came from the east. He's the head of the body of Christ. The man-child will be born into heaven is the body. Jesus was already born into heaven. The body will join him at this roughly the same time as the Antichrist is revealed. But they must have water break for the birth that's coming right after it. And I'm going to share that with you. What's some stuff I think I'm seeing here. So this one folds first, and then the white. So this is the dark. So this is the west coast. So I think we might have a precursor to the mega tsunamis that happen on the west and east coast, and it might start with California first or the west coast first. And some of these things I'm very speculating about, and especially the time frame. I do not know the future. I'm not a prophet. I am prophetic in different ways. God has given me different things. He talks to me, shares with me stuff that's incredible and stuff, but he won't tell me the exact time all the time. He kind of hints at it and goes all the way around the subject, because he doesn't want people to know necessarily, or maybe some people will know right before on the day. I don't know. But this idea, no man knows the day or hour, is completely misunderstood, and it's basically churchianity. And most people that say that, they don't know what they're talking about. I can break it down, all the verses, and show people that they don't even know what they're talking about. That's not what it's saying. I can show you verse by verse, line by line. That's not what it's saying. In fact, it says, we're not children of the night, we're children of the day, so that day would not overtake you like a thief. That day would not overtake you like a thief. And I can go into so many scriptures that prove that you can know the time, and maybe not the exact hour, but it's a figure of speech. Knowing the hour is a figure of speech. So is the day, and all that. Anyway, there's a lot of figures of speech in the Bible, by the way, if you don't know. I've studied the Bible for 27 years. There's idioms, which they're all over the Bible. For example, if you watch this, let's say you watch CNN. I mean, who watched CNN? I don't. But let's say you watch CNN and it says, the White House said today. Well, who that reads the Bible would literally take certain things completely literal, like the White House speaking? Do you think the White House has a big mouth and says, I say today? No, that's an idiom. That's a figure of speech. The White House doesn't talk. The White House said today means the president and his staff. Okay? So if you read stuff in the Bible, you understand it's not literal. There's literal and there's non-literal. There's both in the Bible. But a lot of people take things too literally, and a lot of people take things too figuratively and mix it all up. Anyway, so there's all kinds. There's Orientalisms in the Bible, the way they spoke around the Mediterranean, the Orient. At that time, like Jesus would say, verily, verily I say unto you, truly I say unto you. And sometimes he'd say, verily, verily I say unto you, which means truly, truly I say unto you. And there's different reasons why he'd say one, and the reasons why he'd say two. When he said verily, verily, he's saying, this is super important, you better listen. Or sometimes he'd say, no, truly today. I mean, do you ever say to somebody, no, truly today, you're wearing white socks? I mean, no, there's reasons for the way they spoke in the Orient, around that area, and those are called Orientalisms. Anyway, there's a lot of things like that people just don't understand, and most Christians don't understand what the Bible actually really says. Unfortunately, it's too bad, and I'm not saying I'm better than anybody else. I'm just saying I want to know the truth, and I will break all kinds of so-called, I'll basically knock over a bunch of sacred cows to get to the truth. I don't care. I'll knock them all down. It doesn't matter to me. I want to know the truth, and I want to walk in the truth, and walk in love as best I can. So here we go. This thing is submerged first. Okay, so, and then this guy goes down next. And so I want to talk about this too in these articles. So this happened on the 23rd. And I'm talking about these two events, or a couple of different events that happened on 22nd, 23rd. Some of the fires, these barges that happened. by the way, the runaway barges. Okay, so a lot of these different news articles, they said runaway barges. Several of them said runaway barges. Okay, so that's a red flag right there. Runaway barges is gematria. Okay, and then several of them said barges break loose. Okay, so that's gematria too. Some of the things that just really stick out for me, and I'm getting used to seeing them. And the Lord kind of red flags them for me as well. So runaway barges in English gematria, where each letter equals, I forget exactly, it's 7. Can't think of what it is at the top of my head, but in English gematria, runaway barges and barges break loose is the same number. It's 930. And in gematria, I could show this all this stuff right now and explain it more, but I just don't have the time. And that's why I'm like, Okay, but 9-3 is what they're trying to get to. They're trying to go from 9 to 3, 9TO3. And those are in my other videos as well. They're going from the bottom of the pyramid to the top of the pyramid. The bottom of the pyramid is 9, the top of the pyramid is 3, which is godliness or perfection that the global Luciferian elites believe. But runaway barges and barges break loose are both the same number, which is super crazy. That's like, I don't know what the numbers are on that. It's out of this world. 930. So that's 9-3. Like, for example, 9/11, the flight that I think went into Pentagon was supposedly, but it was really a missile, and they found no wreckage, no dead bodies or anything. It was Flight 93. And there's 9-3s all over the place in their belief of what's coming and in the order out of chaos and things like that. So, and then there's just so much with this. Weber's Falls. There's so much to that as well. I don't think I have that in front of me at the moment. Maybe I do somewhere. Anyway, moving on here. There's a lot of talk. Oh, yeah, and also runaway barges and barges break loose is 930. You know what also equals 930? Just so happens to equal Rachel Meghan Markle, which is the mother of the new royal baby, Archie, which Archie in English gematria is 4-4, which represents Obama. And I've shared that in my last video. Watch my last video, Days of Destruction, iPad Go 2 solved. There's a lot more things in that video that I'm going to refer to on this video because I don't have time to get into all of it. But the reason why is because she's an example of a female, the Yang. Her birthday is the same as Obama's, 8-4, August 4th. And then she has a child, which represents the male part of that. And his name is Archie, which is 4-4. He was born on the 126th day of the year, which is 21 times 6. There's a lot of sixes in there. 21 times 6, basically, in a sense, is 216. Barack Obama's birthday, August 4th, which is also Meghan Markle's, is 216. The 216th day of the year, which is 6 times 6 times 6. 666. And oh, by the way, in super basic, as basic as you can get, gematria, I don't even know what it's called, but Barack Hussein Obama adds up to 18 letters divided by 3 names, Barack Hussein Obama, and you have 666. Simple as you can get. I have over 300 reasons why Barack Obama is the Antichrist, and nobody comes close. Okay, so officials had issued a mandatory evacuation order because of the flooding concerns. So what happens in these articles, what I found several times in the past, is there's several articles about the same thing. A lot of times they use the same similar numbers, but the numbers in a particular order that they use, or sometimes the very first numbers, have to do with the date of the incident or adding to it or whatever. So what I did was I thought, okay, maybe it looks like this 600 is kind of bizarre because it sticks out. And why does it stick out? They said Wednesday night for the 600 residents of the town, which is located about 70 miles, there's a lot in these numbers. And a lot, like I said, a lot of these are fake events. They're concocted. The media works in collusion with these people who do these false flags. It's all completely controlled by the Zionists and the global elites, basically. And that's why all these different media outlets are owned by just now. It used to be over 50 companies. Now it's like 3 or 4, something like that. It's ridiculous. Especially in the last 20, 30 years, it's gone down to like 3 companies that own all media. 3 or 4, something like that. Okay, so anyway, 600 residents of the town. Well, that's a red flag. Think about it. Are there exactly 600 residents of a town? No, there'd be 601, there'd be 610, there'd be 615, there'd be whatever. 600, That's a red flag right there. That's telling me it's 6. So they want to say 6. So then I thought, okay, May 23rd plus 6, 29, May 29. This is so strange because the Lord's been talking to me about May 29. There's something important about May 29. That's my birthday also. I mean, not that that's important, but it's really not that important to me either. It's just that it's very strange. My name actually adds up to 888 in English gematria. And my dad said that when I was a baby, God gave him my name. God gave me the names of my kids, but in a way, some in some ways, others directly. But anyway, it's just kind of crazy that my birthday may be significant. I don't know. But there's a lot of things that are coming up for my birthday that I'm having personal experience with. God just blew my mind. What happened today is mind-blowing. Someday I'll maybe tell you about it. I don't know. I don't have time to get into it right now. It's phenomenal. I can't believe what happened. The way God moved heaven and earth and moved circumstances to make it May 29, I can't even tell you. Anyway, right now, anyway. So add 6. So, and that makes May 29th. Then, let's see, Mr. Rogers. Oh, I'll talk about Mr. Rogers in a second here. Okay, runaway barges again. So we had barges break loose. We have runaway barges. They're the same number, which equals Rachel, Meghan Markle. I mean, all kinds of stuff. It's saying 2 runaway barges are loose at the Swift flooded Arkansas River in eastern Oklahoma, spreading alarm downstream as they threaten a dam. Anyway, there you go. This is another article talking about Weber Falls home to about 600. See, now they say about 600. That's better because they say about, but it's still another one's right away saying 600. So 6. And in this event, of course, they crashed into it on the 23rd. So I'm thinking 29th is very possible. And I've been thinking about 29. By the way, they've done this many times. So it's just kind of weird. Another story was, this is actually, no, what was this? No, that's not the one I was thinking of. Anyway, they honored Mr. Rogers for, it was like 51 years that he'd been on television. He died, years ago now, but 51 years being on television or something, or 51-year anniversary of the date he was starting in television. And then they said that he said this phrase, or he said 143 because it means I love you. So I is 1, love has 4 letters, and then you has 3 letters, so 143. Well, it just so happens to be that they were saying this, they had this on Google Doodles on May 21st, but then they was referred to that 143 in the drawing, and 143 is 143rd day of the year, which is May 23rd. So they're signaling May 23rd as well. And then in that basic Google Doodle, they're talking about how the show has been on for 51 years. 5 plus 1 is 6. Add 6 to 23, you get 29 again. And I know this sounds weird, and hey, this may not add up, but I'm throwing it out there that 29th may be something. Now, what may it be? I don't know. But I'm thinking possibly, I've been looking at different dams and things and possible flooding that could be catastrophic, that would kill a lot of people. And they're all into, see, this thing that happened even on with the Arkansas River with these barges. It was a ritual. It's a ritual to show the bigger ritual that will actually be a dam breaking or a flood that happens that kills a lot of people. Then to the mega ritual, which will be the massive mega tsunamis on the east and west and east coasts. Okay, and if you haven't heard about this in many of my videos, watch my videos. iPad Go 2 solved, part 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. iPad Go 2 solved on my channel. Exalted Lamb 1. Okay, the Exalted Lamb 1. Basically, here's an example. So, Oroville Dam. Okay, I've been following Oroville Dam, and it's been having problems, repair issues and stuff. It broke through, the water broke through on February 11, 2017, the spillway, over the spillway, and it actually talks about it right here. So, on February 11th, the lake level reached 901 feet above mean sea level, and water began flowing as designed over the concrete weir along the top of the emergency spillway, cascading to the emergency spillway, first time in dam's history. So this is a big event. It broke through, and it was kind of, I believe it's possibly pointing to it breaking through the actual dam, and this is kind of some foreshadowing possibly, okay? And so if you basically take that date and go to May 29th, it's 2 years, 3 months, and 19 days. But backwards, it's 9/23. 9/23. And in the numerology of these, I call them nuggets. I can't stand them. It's a nice way of saying the worst names I could think of, the Luciferian global elites. A lot of times in their numerology, 1 equals a 1, or it's a space, or it's a slash. So in this situation, it ends up being a slash. I can show you hundreds of examples, and I have in different things in my videos, where it's 9 slash, in a sense, 2-3, or you can say 2-3/9. You can say 23rd day and 9th month, or whatever. From anyways, so it's 9. So if that's 9/2/3 backwards, it just so happens to be. That's a possibility. But there's a number of reasons why I would say that as well. So, for example, let's see here. So remember the 600. We talked about the residents here. Right here, 600. And we have 600 again, 600 residents, right? Well, when I'm looking up, what was I looking up here? I'm looking up 600. Where did I find 600? Well, okay, so I'll say it this way. When I looked up Orville Dam in the past in Gematria, Orville Dam in English Gematria equals 1111. We've heard that many times. I can't tell you how many times. Spelled out 1111, 999, which is upside down 666, 555, which 555 is 15. 555 is also the Zionists. That's the number for the Zionists. And then 600 spelled out. Well, there's the 600 right there, 600. So what are the chances that Orville Dam would be equal in English Gematria to 600? And they were talking about 600. I know some people say, oh, that's just a freak thing. Well, there's more. Okay, so Orville is in English Gematria is 648, which is equal to Meghan Markle. Not Rachel Meghan Markle, but Meghan Markle, okay? And then we had Rachel Meghan Markle equal to the barges break loose and runaway barges. This stuff keeps going in circles. It just connects in so many ways. It's pretty crazy. And I could show you all this stuff. I just don't have time. You just have to hear me talk a little bit or ramble a little bit, but I'm hitting a lot of different things. People say, oh, you're rambling. I'm hitting a lot of things while I'm talking, okay? And if you add it all up, it's more than a lot of people say. And then let's see here. So let's talk about Mr. Rogers real quick. Mr. Rogers in English Gematria is equal to September 11, Twin Towers, the Day of the Lord. I mean, that's a coincidence. And then his real name is Fred Rogers. Fred Rogers. Now listen to this, and this is the next subject I want to talk about. Fred Rogers is equal to, in English Gematria, Theresa May, and she was a prime minister that just resigned on the 24th, one day after 23rd, which is super significant. It's equal to Fred Rogers equal to Freemasons, and he was a Freemason. He was a minister, and a lot of the ministers around that time, especially to get that show and be on TBS, he's definitely a Freemason without a doubt. Fred Rogers also equals Obama is Satan. That's pretty crazy too. There's several things. Fred Rogers also equals love you. And remember, he would say 143, which equals I love you. So what a lot of these numbers basically say, if you really understand what these are saying, is that people's names, either they already have that name and they're picked for that, or their name becomes something that equals these different things on purpose. So that when they match other names, this is all done on purpose. So it follows their whole their etymology and their religion and their signaling and all this kind of stuff. This is all planned. So it looks like to the outsider and to the other people, it looks like it's all it's amazing and this all stuff lines up and it's all spiritual and everything. But no, it's all manipulated and planned behind the scenes, and it looks like it's all natural and organic and everything. It's not. It's all planned. It's all fake. Every bit of it's fake. And if you're able to kind of spot it and see it, it's pretty crazy. So, man, there's so much here to talk about. So, let me go to the next thing here. Oh, let's see. So, Mr. Rogers loved the number 143, always strive to keep his weight at 143 pounds. That's weird. Again, this is just a joke. I mean, this is just it's a narrative that they want to put out there to make it look like he's just, anyway. again, one was okay, anyway, 143. Okay. Let's see, what do I want to go to now? Oh, let's not get into that yet. Let me pause and go to the next thing here. Okay, so I don't have every single slide, unfortunately, because there's so much prep that comes into this, hours that I don't have. I have these twins. I'm not sleeping. Got a 12-hour day job. Anyway, so yeah, so in iPad Go 2, here is Lily, the character Lily, and there's a figure behind her. Now she drops the apple. Now I've said in my last video that I think she's birthing this apple, and it's a birth basically. She's in pain when she's dropping it. Okay, and so like I've said before,